You're listening to the House Guy and Home Girl podcast, a podcast about real estate and real life. As realtors, home builders, and real estate investors, John and Kim keep it real. Former teachers turned real estate professionals, they have a heart for helping others. Join them each week as they discuss all things home. And now, here's your hosts, John and Kim.
All right, this is going to be our recap and review of a series on Netflix called The Watcher that we just finished. It's a 2022 series, so it's a little bit older, right? But we enjoyed it, and it's real estate related.
I still don't know what turned you on to The Watcher. Where did you find out about The Watcher?
It's one of those, Netflix gives you like percentages. Like it said 97%.
Oh, I gotcha.
And then I read a little bit about it, watched the trailer, and I was like, this... You like scary stuff.
A little bit,
yeah. And it was a real estate.
And you're anti-scary.
I hate it.
I think it said thriller or something like that.
Yeah, thriller. So I was like, it's not horror, it's a thriller, so I can handle it, right? But it's also created by Ryan Murphy, the American Horror Story guy, who I think is basically a demon. Like, his stuff is like so scary. I remember we watched American Horror Story one season, and I was like, not for me. And I think it all goes back to like...
But that series too, which we will not watch it because, there are real demons and things like that, and you don't want to welcome them in. But didn't that all kind of encompass a house or...
Oh, I blocked it out. I don't know.
I don't know. But this particular series it had some true facts to it.
No, it was based on a true story, and that's what I thought. Well, it can't be.
Not really, though.
Well, that's what it said.
It's more true factual information. Like, they took these facts and twisted them and turned them for TV. Because it's not... Because
It's not a documentary. It's based on a true story.
Okay, whatever. Because I had already watched because I am a big-time forensic file... ID, like true crime. Oh my gosh, I will watch that stuff. Like that is
disclaimer, if I wind up dead, investigate.
Whatever.
No.
Anyways,
that's
love that. So I had already seen and knew could recall that guy's name, like, that the true story is about,
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, oh my gosh, this is about, his name was John List,
mm-hmm.
and he had killed his family in this home, and that was kind of the premise of The Watcher. But we watched The Watcher, and I liked it.
Yeah, so again, I'm not a big scary movie or scary show fan at all. I think it goes back to like when I was a kid and my family got a satellite dish, a big satellite dish, and they would watch scary movies on there's one TV, right? And so they would watch scary movies, and I either had to watch it or leave and go, whatever. So
did you watch it?
Yeah, I did. And I shouldn't have because I was too little.
Yeah, I didn't. My mom, there's so many things that you have knowledge about watching, shows in the 80s that I've never seen. I don't even have any kind of background on it. You're like, don't you know that joke? And I'm like, what is it?
Yeah.
Who is that?
So this was kind of scary. I thought it would work.
Yeah.
But anyway, so we watched it, and the premise is, right, and
let me just say, if you live by yourself, Lance, don't watch it because it will kind of freak you out. But it is kind of neat, though. It is based on real estate.
It was based on an article that was in the New York Times in 2018 by a guy named Reeves Widerman. Anyway, he wrote it for New York Magazine, The Cut. And so that's where, we looked at that article, we read it, it's after the fact. I was like, how much of that is really true and how much of it is made up? And
mm-hmm.
a lot of it is pretty true. So the premise of The Watcher is that these folks move out of the city into the country and buy their dream home, right?
Okay. There's so many, y'all. If you watch this and you listen to our podcast, like, you'll say, you can watch this and just be like, oh, John and Kim said not to do this and don't do that and don't do this and don't do that. So they make tons of mistakes in the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
And basically, literally like everything that we say, don't do, try to avoid, we just made a podcast about mistakes to avoid. Like they negated their budget, like just totally overpaid, fell in love, got emotionally attached to the house. Mm-hmm. I mean, they pulled out all the stops. I think they went through
took out their retirement.
Yeah. I mean, basically sold their souls to the devil.
Yeah, to make it happen,
to make this house happen. And like, there's nothing, y'all. I love my house, and yes, I want a bigger house because I want more room, but all those things at the end of the day are material things. I don't care, like, and that's what they were buying. They wanted bigger, better, out of the city, they just wanted more. And basically, like I said, sold their soul to the devil for what they couldn't afford it.
Yeah, the perfect home became not the perfect home in many, many respects, right?
And then they went in and they did some rehab on it. That's another no-no. If you overpay for a house, like, don't put more than what it's worth in that house, because you're not ever getting it back. And so they tore out these marble.
They already overpaid for the house, and then they did renovations.
Yeah, and then they did a bunch of renovations on it, and then they started to get letters in the mail. And basically, it was a letter stating, hello, such and such. I think the address was
657 Boulevard.
657 Boulevard. I've been watching you. And, and talking about family and just things that are just like, you shouldn't know about people. Not even your neighbors should know about you. And then it was signed The Watcher. And so it was pretty creepy. If I got a letter like that in the mail, it would creep me out, and I would be in the same boat,
So, and don't skip over the first part. Which, spoiler alert, some of this is going to be, if you want to watch it, you're going to have to
stop right here and then go back.
But the first,
what is it, like
7 episodes?
7 episodes. So it's very quick. I mean, you can get through it in a week or so.
First person that they make acquaintance with out in the country is Nora is the main character. She's the wife that lives in the house. Her old friend from college, who happens to be
a real estate
agent, right? Yeah. And she's at the open house, and they wind up using
a real estate agent that may or may not have broken many rules.
Oh, absolutely, throughout the course of
the program. Yeah.
But so they, so they strike up their old friendship, and they're talking about it. And early on in that conversation, after the watcher sends a letter or two, and it's very eerie, like, oh, hello, welcome to the neighborhood. Please, I see you're making renovations. Don't know why you're doing that. And along the way, there's people in the house, like, well, how did you get in here? You shouldn't have been in here. So it's just really creepy, and all the neighbors around the house are creepy people, And again, that's all fictionalized.
I didn't even think about that, but they basically bought the best house.
Yeah, the best,
and not in the worst neighborhood, but the best house on the street, and overpaid at that. So they were really in over their heads. But yeah, just a creepy, and some of that was like the director's story. Part of his storyline was to make it
was all
creepy.
fictionalized to make it more,
But it was neat though. But the real estate agent went in there, and then she, pulled some strings and basically, had them pay too much for it. Kind of coaxed them in that direction, and she broke some rules, and that house was supposedly supposed to have had been a house that several people got murdered in, and that's something that she should have, and she knew it too, and so that's something that she should have conveyed when she was trying to sell the house or whatever. I don't know what else.
So then they're trying to find out who the watcher is, right?
Oh, yeah,
and that's what the interesting part is.
So they get this letter, and they just freak out because they've moved from New York. They think they're safe. Everything's going great, with the exception of like creepy neighbors and some weird things that have happened. And then they get this letter, and like, it's like, what have we done? And then a couple nights later, they've got this ferret or whatever. What was that thing? A muskrat?
It was a ferret.
It was a ferret. Okay. I don't know. Anyways, it got killed in the night. And, then they're like, oh my gosh, our house is haunted, or somebody's in it. And they went to the police, and, the police,
supposedly DNA sampled the letter.
Right. But then they're like, are they in on it too?
So yeah, it just becomes this really tangled web of like all these characters of like, who are these people? Is this person in on it, right? Because immediately after they're in there, the first interaction she has with her agent is, they're at the country club having dinner, and then she says, sell.
Yeah, because we're like, who is the watcher?
Yeah.
Are these creepy neighbors the watcher?
Is the real estate agent the watcher?
Real estate agent,
the cops?
Yeah, we don't know. Like, are the people the watchers?
And that's the whole premise of the whole show. Is like you're trying to figure out who done it or who it is all the way around, right?
So if you ever hear me say, sell. That comes from the watcher. Yeah. And who is that actress?
Jennifer Coolidge, right? So she's from
American Pie is what I think of.
No, it's not. It's
is?
Yeah, Stifler's mom in American Pie, but Legally Blonde, Bend and Snap.
Oh yeah, Bend and Snap. Yeah, the
she's
nail,
great though. Yeah, she's a really good actress.
The nail technician there in that. Yeah, she really does a really good job in it. But yeah, she gets a little too.
It's a little much, especially at the end, right? So
everybody in town knows what happened to your house or something.
Right.
Yeah, and it does get a little. It's got some ugliness in it too. So just be aware.
Oh yeah, it's definitely not kid friendly. It's definitely an adult
don't
show.
Watch that. But anyways, if you do watch it with real estate eyes, you can. And if you do listen to our podcast, you can go through it and see all the things to avoid when buying a house. Overpaying and. Don't get mentally or emotionally attached, and
check out the neighbors.
Hey, check out the neighbors after dark. That would be good
right.
too. Like so many things happen in that house. But anyways, yeah, it was based on some. I'm going to stick to my story, true facts, because there's definitely some fact checks that's debunked in that. But also too, that house was apparently supposed to be like 100-year-old house, and so that was part of the premise too, was to keep everything intact. All the neighbors and the historical society, they were having
so
meetings.
You have the creepy preservation society people and all that. Yeah, so I would say, let's give it a rating.
Okay.
All right. So, like, out of 10, would you recommend it to watch? Somebody to watch? It's seven episodes, right? 45 minutes each.
Without children, don't watch it. I would only recommend like maybe 1 to 2 episodes a night. I would give it I liked it. I'm a little creepy, I guess, in that respect. 8.5.
8.5 out of 10.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
I would. I liked it.
Yeah. It cost me a little sleep every night as we were watching it, and it's just like any other Netflix series where they have cliffhangers and you have to stop watching it, and it's like, I'm not gonna watch 7 hours of this at one time, so you get stuck. But I would say for me, I did enjoy it, and I thought it was cool that it was based on a true story. Don't go in. I would say if you're going to watch it, don't go and read the article before you watch it, because there's some spoilers.
Just watch the trailer and move on.
Yeah. Just watch. I would say watch it. I would recommend it. I would not give it an 8.5 though. I would say probably more like a 7.
6. Okay.
7 for me. Yeah, it's interesting. It's a thriller, but it has to me a little bit still too much scary stuff in it. I'm just.
I only gave it an extra 0.5% simply because there's nothing on TV anymore. So, I do have to watch my true crime and all those shows because there's literally nothing. And I haven't seen any series on Netflix in a long time that we could watch together. Yeah. So I have to bump it up from an 8 to an 8.5. Yeah. So anyways, if you know of a good series or whatever that you would like us to watch and review, just drop it in the comment section and we'll be glad to do that. If you have anything you want to add to the watcher.
Yeah, let us know. If you've watched it, let us know. We don't want to spoil it. We want people to.
But definitely don't allow your kids to watch it though, and don't watch it in the presence of your children.
Oh yeah. I would not.
Yeah, it's just like you said. You watched scary stuff in the past or whatever, and so
I'm scarred for life.
You really are, like in that respect, because you will not watch a scary show.
I don't.
Don't
invite that stuff into your house.
No, some of that is like true devilish, and you don't want to watch that. But I did not. I was not allowed to watch any scary stuff like that. And,
well, you have to be. Let's be clear. We grew up on Freddy Krueger and Jason,
and I didn't.
And The Exorcist, like all that. Classic horror movie stuff, like I saw all that, and before I was 12 years old, I would have seen
one movie,
silly, scary stuff.
To this day, I cannot watch it. one movie, and it was on.
I know what this is.
It was on at my grandmother's house that apparently, supposedly, was haunted with a ghost, a real ghost, y'all. Like, it was just crazy. Anyways, one movie, and this was a kind of a situation where all the parents were in there playing bunco or something like that, cards, and all the kids were in the living room, but it was like a mixture of cousins, so it was like kids from like babies all the way to like 15, 16, 17-year-old kids, you know. And so my aunt had rented a movie, her and her boyfriend were going to watch later. And then
rented a VHS.
Yeah,
right?
rented a VHS movie. And then me and my cousins, we thought, well, they live there. And so we were visiting. I mean, there's so many people in that house. Anyways, but they thought it would be fun to watch the movie that my aunt and her boyfriend had rented before they watched it, because I guess they were watching another movie. I don't know what they were doing. I don't know. Anyways, but the movie was Pet Sematary, y'all. To this day, like, that whole movie, start to finish, I can't watch it because the way it was, like, the way I took it in my mind, where it is in my mind, the age I was when I watched it. So don't, like, really watch what your kids are watching. Pay attention, because you don't want to, you know, these are little tiny brains that you mold, and you don't want it to get poisoned by evil. So,
my little
anyways.
tiny brain, I don't know if it ever grew, but it's definitely got scars on it from watching those old scary movies. So anyway, that's our review on The Watcher. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Drop us a comment. Let us know what you think. And we'll see you.
See y'all.
Thanks for listening to the House Guy and Home Girl podcast, your #1 source for all things home. Be sure to subscribe to the podcast and check out our YouTube page for video content from the show.